And what is happening, everybody? My name is Julius, and I'm here once again for another chapter, 19th chapter in Ignore This Podcast. I'm here with my friend, Ufwei, who helped me with the third chapter. How are you?
I'm good.
You're
Now.
Now that we're actually recording, finally.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you heard in any of the previous episodes I've done. Maybe you were actually ignoring the podcast, which is cool.
That's what I'm supposed to do, right?
That's the name. But I did say that I would never have you back at my house again because of your performance the last time you were on. And
Wow.
do you remember which part specifically I'm talking about?
Yes, the part where I walked into the other room and screamed.
Right. At the top of my lungs.
At the top of
Or
your
at
lungs?
at top of your lungs.
Yeah.
Shit. So we're not in my house right now.
Mm-hmm.
We're in the car.
Mm-hmm.
And it's capturing everything fairly well, I think.
Yep, we found a little loophole.
Yeah. So how do you feel about recording a podcast in a car away from the original source?
The original source.
Yeah. The original energy.
I feel like this isn't the first time I've recorded something in the car, so I'm chill.
Oh, if you like recorded music?
Yeah, I've done a lot of I've recorded in weirder places is what I'm saying.
Oh, really? Like where?
Like a park.
Like in the outskirts? Like out
I like
outside?
Montana. Just outside.
What were you recording?
It was a song.
Oh, okay. Did it call
What did
for
you think
ambience?
I was recording?
I don't know. I have no idea what you would record in a park other than ambience for like a short film or something. You know?
Mm-hmm.
Like what? Yeah.
My family, we just do shit.
Okay.
That's the only way I can describe and explain that.
For the song recorded at the park,
Mm-hmm.
did it require that ambience to it?
No, it was just that somebody decided we're going to work on music and we were at a park.
Oh, okay. No, you know what? I've never, well, that's not true. I have recorded podcasts in the past, in cars before, and it's cool. You know, I wish I had like what Steve-O has. You know, Steve-O from Jackass. He has a podcast and he has a mobile home that he goes around and he just records podcasts with people on the road, and it's pretty good. You know, he's got high quality and everything. But my car's obviously not, you know, an RV. So it's kind of cramped in here, but, you know, I'm comfortable. Are you comfortable?
I'm comfortable. I'm good.
Okay, good.
Straight chilling.
Well, it's been a while since you've been on. You helped me with the third episode in this, and here we are, 16 later?
16 episodes later.
And now for something completely different.
Yes.
How have you been?
I've been bad.
Oh, okay.
I've been bad.
Worse than what we talked about in the podcast?
I mean, like mentally, no.
Right.
Physically, yes.
Oh, gee. Okay. You know, that's good though, right? I mean, like, because the physical aspect, you got through it, and if your mentality didn't break throughout that whole process, you're probably even better right now, right?
Yes, I'm good. Antidepressants are a hell of a drug, folks.
That should be the quote. You know what I mean? Like, cocaine is a hell of a drug. Yeah. It should be what you just said.
Yes. You know, more people need to try antidepressants. I feel like I would have to deal with less bullshit if more people looked to themselves for their issues.
I love actually listening to the episode you and I did. I don't know if you've listened to it or how often you've listened to it, but
I've listened to it like once.
Okay. Well, did you enjoy it? Did you enjoy it?
It was fun. Yeah.
I had a good time talking to you because that had been the first time in a while that we'd really, talked like that, And I guess this is technically the second time in a while because you've been sick, and we've been trying to talk. We've been trying to do this for a while.
Like literally, I was supposed to come out the first day I got sick, and I was like, "This can't be happening. I haven't been sick all year. Like, why now? But, you know, it is what it is.
It's what it is. My thing is, I like listening to that one in particular because, you know, we get to know a lot about your personal life, your history with, you know, religion and crazy people, and how many family members do you have on God? Like, what the hell is going on with you? You know, and I enjoy it because even though, like, with the sickness that you had to deal with, it didn't break you. You know, all the bullshit you've been through in your life didn't break you. Okay, well, I'm not so sure now. I'm not so sure now. But you're feeling pretty good lately, you know?
Yeah, I'm doing a lot better.
Okay. It's like an intermediary period.
Yeah, I'm just trying to, like, make sure that I get my baseline as solid as possible, so it's harder for me to dip below it. You get me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I get that. Yeah, you want to have a good, solid enough foundation.
Yeah.
But, like, you have also, like, a drill gun that you put, like, little holes in there to have some fun.
it's like you shit's gonna happen no matter you want to or not.
Yeah. So
you gotta make sure that when it does go down, you can get back up again. Make sure that there's, like, so it's more like OSHA. Like, I'm, like, going in and putting, like, railings and, like, making sure that the ladders are appropriate and shit. Making sure this... my descent to the bottom is going to be solid as fuck.
You're going to be able to float still.
Yeah.
You're going to float at the bottom of the ocean somehow.
Yes.
But still staying at the bottom of the ocean.
There's this song, and it goes, like, toss me a shovel, I'm going in. Like, it's so, like, you know, I think of, like, the points at the bottom. And I'm like, I think of that song, and it's, if you ever get the chance, it is called, literally, Toss Me a Shovel, I'm Going In. It's a good song when you're having a mental breakdown.
Who made it?
Fuck, where's my phone? It's on my crazy
No, that's a CD.
That is not my phone. I put my phone.
This is the best part of recording in a car, is that you never know what you'll find in here.
Yeah, just all kinds of trinkets. He has a solar paneled hula girl.
That's from Miles. Miles gave me that. You know what Miles also gave me? Soap. And he gave me soap that was specifically targeted at me because it was called Dirty Cock. And it had a rooster on it. I'm serious. Ask him. I don't know if you...
Are you trying to tell your audience something about your genitals?
No, it's what Miles got me.
But you said it was specifically targeted at you.
He got it to fuck with me. That's what happened. He did. I didn't do this. I didn't go to Hawaii. He went to Hawaii and he said, hey, you know, Crystal, see that soap right there? I'm thinking of Julius. Yeah.
It's not weird at all that he was thinking so hard about your cock.
Well, I mean, it's become less weird as time has gone by. Because Miles, you know, I mess with Miles sometimes about all that, but he'll bring this shit up more than me. You know, I'll make some photoshops of him, you know, as like put his head on Johnny Sin's body or something, you know, as a joke for his birthday or something. But like every time he'll bring it up. He'll bring it, like, there's this one time we're walking, and I was walking behind him, and it was a whole group of us. And he turns around, and he says, just blanketly, he says, you staring at my ass? I was like, no, Miles, I'm not. Are you talking to me or your girlfriend? Who's it?
I really feel like I could write an entire novel about the homoeroticism of you guys. I've been talking about this shit since high school. Like, especially your male friendships. Your male friendships are more homoerotic than my bisexual cousins' male friendships. Like, you say shit, and I didn't even have to bring this shit up. Like, literally, it used to happen so much that every, 15 minutes I would say fucking fanfic, and they would know what I was talking about, because these, if you were hanging out with them in person, I swear, sometimes it would be like they were 5 seconds away from kissing. I swear to God.
Here's my thing. This is how much you've evolved since then, is that you used to say fanfic, and now you're saying novel. Like, it's something you could actually make profit on.
Oh, no.
So if you plan on writing a book and it gets published, I do expect 15% of the profits. Okay, you can write about whatever you want. If it sells, it sells, man. I'm just letting you know. I expect my cut. Okay.
Oh my god.
No one else, because it's primarily me. You know, obviously, you just stated I have it, audible proof that I am the basis.
It's a lot of your friendships are very homoerotic. Anyway, the name of the song is "Hand Me a Shovel, I'm Going In," and it's by Will Wood and the Tapeworms. Also, the cover art for this song is very fun.
What do we? Well, the video's on. So describe the cover art.
It's like this. It's psychedelic is the way I would describe it. It's this like
LSD or angel dust.
Yeah, so it's like
yes.
It's both. It's like this like dude, and he's covered in a bunch of face paint, and his face looks weird, and body looks weird, and he has 4 arms, and there's like a circle around him, and there's earth in the background.
Really?
Yes. You can't see it here because it's like really small, but when I click on it for like 5 seconds.
I saw it.
Yeah.
What kind of music is that? Is that like a trippy kind of? Is it punk? Is it indie? How would you describe it?
I guess indie. I'm really bad when it comes to
like
describing
genres?
specific genres for certain music. Like I would say, I could say who else you would like if you like this song, but I can't say
right.
Like what genre it is. Like gosh, what is the name of the other person who I just recently started listening to again?
I feel the same way when it comes to the music I like and groups I like, but how am I gonna do? And as someone who plays music, you're someone who sings and everything. It's even more embarrassing.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh shit, I should know my stuff.
For me, it's like it's them. I feel like genres are kind of a capitalistic tool to organize people into boxes and don't really work well for the music genre, because you could say so many different things are pop, but 2 completely disparate things can be identified as pop.
Right.
You know?
Yeah.
But like if you like Unknown Mortal Orchestra, oh gosh, there was another one where it's like they're steampunk and I can't remember, but they had the song that's like "Set Me Free, My Honey Bee."
Steampunk, you said?
Yeah.
Do they have those, twizzly ass mustaches?
It's like they're like a robot. It's been so long since I listened to it.
Now I'm thinking of that movie Robots. Remember that?
Oh, the one where the robots got ass?
Yeah.
And it's like capitalism sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, that movie.
Those are my favorite movies.
Yeah, fuck capitalism.
That's a good genre.
Yeah.
Capitalism sucks. The genre.
The genre capitalism sucks.
They should literally
fuck
just
the mouse. Oh, the other day I had an idea to do like, you know how like people have been doing a lot of these like interview podcasts where they go up to random strangers. I thought it would be so funny if somebody did one where it was like they wear a costume for a character, and then they go up to people as that character. And I just had an idea to go with the mouse and just be talking shit about Disney the entire fucking time. It would be such an easy way to get my content stripped down from the record.
Well, this is going to be the last known recording of you now. If you decide to do that.
Yeah.
Go for it. I'm a supportive friend and everything.
You like just don't put that shit on my channel.
I like having historical podcasts as well. Like historical documentation.
Yeah.
In any manner. If I can find someone who's having a breakdown, I'll record it. If I can find someone who decides to just end their lives through the means that you just, said, let's do it. Because the thing is, during your that podcast of yours, is it video or audio?
I feel like it would have to be video.
Right. I think so too. You will see several red dots appear on you from the distance.
Just like, ching!
Yeah. The moment you walk out of your door dressed like that, done.
Don't even look to see who's under the mask.
Yeah, you just hear a little, in the distance, you just hear a little, yup. Oh, shit. You know, it's funny you say that because I'm playing, I'm sorry to say to Brian, my friend Brian, but I'm playing Kingdom Hearts still. And I'm playing the third game, which is the latest game, the grand finale, as it were. And Mickey Mouse kind of sucks. It's just as a character, it's like, there's not much to him. You know, like back in the early days, like where he was like the black and white, he was like the trickster, he'd get into all sorts of, you know, dilemmas and everything, all sorts of problems. But in this game, he's just like, I think they're trying to pitch him as like the Yoda, you know? But like, all I can think of when I see Mickey Mouse is that South Park episode. So, have you seen that? The South Park episode with Mickey Mouse? So, it's been a long time since I've watched it, but essentially it's like everyone's excited because the Jonas Brothers are in town. So this already dates the fucking episode.
Yeah.
Even though they're back, but still, you know.
I think that I saw that car drive past here.
Oh, yeah.
I think they were having trouble finding your house.
Yeah, and so we ordered a pizza a while ago, and earlier in the podcast, the Domino's card went up, and then the Domino's card just passed us. Oh yeah, it's for, I think it's for us. He's lost. Oh well. Yeah, no, he's gone.
He's having some technical difficulties. Man, I feel bad for this dude.
What did I just tell you? Anything. I'll record anything. Lost Domino's Pizza Man.
Poor guy.
Poor guy. But yeah, no, so the Jonas Brothers are playing, and there's this infamous scene, which you might have seen, where Mickey Mouse comes in into the green room for the Jonas Brothers, and they're like, we don't want to play, and then Mickey Mouse just comes in and he beats the shit out of them. He's like, you fucking with my money? And it is horrifying to watch. That is all I think about when I play those games, because you fight alongside Mickey Mouse against the forces of darkness, and I'm just like, yeah, right.
I am the forces of darkness.
Like Donald and Goofy are cool to me and everything. They're cool. I like them. They have more personality than Mickey Mouse, you know?
Yeah. I mean, like, okay, so I don't have experience with that, but like
those games, you mean?
Those games,
right.
Yeah. My primary experience with Mickey Mouse is I had my baby cousin Elijah.
Yeah.
Used to exclusively watch Mickey Mouse Clubhouse.
So
I have like the entire theme song memorized. And it's like a worm that burrows into your soul, and you just like, that's the thing when you're like babysitting small children, you just get way too like in tune to children's media, and you're like, oh, this is terrible, or oh, this is kind of good. Like my proudest moment was when I got my baby cousin Elijah addicted to Avatar: Last Airbender.
Oh yeah, oh my god, that's a fantastic show.
Very good. Like, I feel like a lot of children's media, they feel like that kids are stupid, and they're not fucking stupid.
Yeah.
Make good shows for kids.
Yeah.
And this is about to, it's like 5 seconds away from turning into a rant about HBO Max and what they're doing with like all the...
What are they doing?
They like kicked off a bunch of their... In order to avoid paying streaming fees to the creators, they knocked a whole bunch of programming. Most of it is animation and kids programming.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. Hold on a second. Yeah, no, this is the worst time to be calling me. Okay. All right, sorry.
So most of it's like animation and kids programming. And they did it basically so they wouldn't have to pay money to the creators. And so now you can't find any of that stuff.
Like, what's an example of a show that they've cut out?
Infinity Train.
Okay.
Fantastic. Another one, well, I only know that they dropped this because it was my baby brother's favorite show, and he always asks for me to put it on for him, and I can't anymore. It's called Lucas the Spider, and it started off as like these little like Instagram shorts.
Yeah.
And then they got made into a big show, and like it's an HBO Max exclusive, so you can't find it anywhere else. And all he wants, he's 4, he doesn't understand that corporations are greedy motherfuckers. He just wants to watch Lucas the Spider.
Well, it sounds like because he can't watch Lucas the Spider, there's a whole genre called Capitalism Sucks that you could just introduce him to. The figurehead of this genre is, I think, I don't know, but maybe it's old, but Michael Moore, one of these people that you could introduce some documentaries to.
Yeah, like, I feel like if I make my baby brother a filthy commie like me, my grandfather will be moved to violence. He's like, I think I kind of touched on this last time, but like my grandpa's like, he was in the military, and like he only stopped being a Republican when they got racist.
When they got racist?
Yeah. Like he only stopped being a Republican in like the fucking 2000s, man. It's like, and he still doesn't agree with them on a lot of stuff. Like,
so is he a Democrat or is he just independent?
Technically a Democrat, but he's not happy about it. Like, he's like, I don't believe it. He's like, what is it? Socially liberal, fiscally conservative, but not even really liberally.
It's his own class.
Yeah. He's like, man, I can't be with these dudes because they suck. But this team, I don't agree with them on anything. It's like, yes, because you suck a little. I'm sorry, Grandpa. I loved it when you bought me candy. But it's like, come on, man. Can you please stop calling them?
Sucking.
Can you just, like, not discriminate against the trans people who go to your sober living home?
Yeah.
At the very least? Come on, man.
I guess he wouldn't be a TERF technically.
No,
because
he'd have to be a feminist for that to work out.
Would he? Because being a TERF is like so anti.
No, TERF is you know what that stands
for?
for?
Yeah, trans exclusionary radical feminism.
Yeah, but he's not radical or feminist.
No, I understand that, but what I'm saying is that being that is against what being a feminist is.
Yeah.
You know, so like you can't being a TERF but also being a feminist is a paradox.
No,
it doesn't work.
I feel like the reason why I say that in that way is like, you know, you have to acknowledge extremism in all groups.
Mm-hmm.
And you can't say that they're not a part of that group just because they're extremists, you know?
Yeah, no, that's fair. That is fair, but I feel like if your rhetoric is just... Because obviously the whole TERF thing came into the public zeitgeist, you know, when the whole Dave Chappelle stand-up thing happened and he talked about it and everything. I just don't... It's not a matter of me just disagreeing. It's... Let's say we were like Black Lives Matter, right? Let's say we're Black Lives Matter. And I start discriminating against the black people who are specifically criminals. You know what I mean? We're not... And then I start doing this Candace Owens type shit. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Okay, but the thing is, you say that like that's not...
No, it is, but that's what I'm saying. It's like if your main argument goes against the main purpose of the movement, do you still count as one of them?
I would say yes, unfortunately. But, like, the thing is, there's a difference between a feminist and a good feminist.
Mm-hmm.
I would say that they are not good feminists because they don't understand what feminism is actually supposed to be.
Mm-hmm.
But they still self-identify as a feminist, and they still are advocating for some things
Right.
that they view as being a part of feminism or that certain feminists would agree with.
Right.
The reason why I say it and word it like that is because, it's, especially just growing up on the internet and stuff, I almost became a TERF.
Oh, really?
That was like, because the way that they infiltrate these spaces that are feminist, like, you see one post or one thing and you agree with that one thing. And I feel like sometimes people will see themselves agreeing with one thing that the TERF says,
right.
and then feel like either there's a dichotomy. Either I'm a terrible person because I agreed with the TERF, or that must not be true because I can't agree with the TERF.
Right.
And it's not that simple, because that's how, that polarization is how they recruit people.
Yeah.
And you have to understand, I agree with X, Y, and Z, but I don't agree with Z, and I don't agree with their entire... I don't agree with D, and I don't agree with their entire viewpoint.
Right.
You get me?
No, yeah. The same thing happens with guys when they look at the, I've heard this argument from people who watch some stuff of Andrew Tate,
Yeah.
let's say, because he'll say things that could be true,
Yeah.
but he applies that to his whole narrative, which is not true overall.
Yeah.
And obviously with the implementation of social media, where they clip out those little parts of him saying the thing that is quote unquote right or true in the most basic way, people eat that shit up, and it's crazy because they don't then look into who he is, what he's done,
or they do, and because of that one thing, the kernel of things that they agree with, they start going down the rabbit hole.
Right. Yeah.
And I had it's funny you bring that up, because I had the conversation with one of my cousin's friends about that the other day.
About Andrew Tate
specifically.
Yeah.
And he was like, it was like, do you believe in conspiracy theories? Like, I believe in the red pill stuff, like the Andrew Tate stuff.
Right,
and I was like, what do you mean? Because, like, he's sitting at this party with my cousin and her trans girlfriend.
Oh, no.
And my cousin and his gay boyfriend.
Oh, no.
And he's like the only straight guy there. And I'm just like, what do you mean?
Imagine he just brought out a bag of, like, hot tamales. Here's some red pills for you guys. Passing.
I was just like, are you serious? Like, we had to, like, go into this whole thing and, like, have this whole conversation with him. And it was really funny for me because at this party, like, I had decided not to drink and I was the only sober person there. So watching everybody drunk and, like, argue with this man was so fucking funny. Oh, it was hilarious.
I wish I was there, dude. That would have been so fun, man. I would just been like, in the background, I would have probably been saying things like, drink your sparkling bottled water, brother.
It was so funny, man. It was so...
To me, at least, I know to a lot of people he's not this, but to me he is a joke. Like, here...
Well, like, the reason why I can't treat him like a joke, though, is because, like, he fucking kidnapped people.
Well, yeah, no, but that's what I'm saying. A lot of people miss that.
Yeah.
A lot of people don't know that shit, that he's he's not in the country, this country that we are in right now, because if he were, he would be fucking arrested for sex trafficking. Yeah. So, like, did you guys miss that? Like, did you bring that up to the guy? Yeah,
I brought that up to the guy. He's like, oh. No, he didn't. Why isn't he arrested? I was like, he doesn't live. He's literally living in Bulgaria right now, so that he can bribe officials and get away with this shit. And he was like, oh, but, like, I still agree with him on some of that stuff. I was like,
okay. Well, we can agree on a couple things. The sky is blue. We can agree with, even though that's a matter of perception for people who are colorblind. But
and also it changes. I mean, like right now it's not blue.
Right, yeah, but generally speaking, we perceive it as blue. Right. I might agree with Andrew Tate on that. Right? Okay, sure. We agreed on something. Hey, you know what? I like sparkling water. Okay.
Sparkling water is delicious.
It's delicious. Oh, but you know, he probably called me a pussy for because I like the lime flavoring in it. I like the wild berry, the green apple sparkling cider. That's pretty good. But you know, see, even there, we probably disagree.
Yeah, man. I don't know fucking anything about Andrew. The thing about it that was weird for me, and like the thing that's upsetting for me, is that like, okay, the way I heard about him first was I kept on getting these really sexist videos on YouTube, and I was like, who the fuck is this? Why is this happening? YouTube, you obviously don't know me very well. I don't want to see this shit. I'm going on here to watch people make shit that looks cool.
Like art stuff.
Like I watch a lot of like woodworking videos.
Oh, okay.
And like recipe videos and shit. Like I don't want to craft. Lately I've been getting into crafting. There's this one chick who does like cosplay, but also she's like a costuming major. She wouldn't call it, like she got her like master's degree in costuming.
Yeah.
So she like felts and shit. That was the coolest thing. I saw her make a hat from scratch.
Oh, that's really cool.
Yeah. So
You
I
ever
want
watched
to see this shit.
The blacksmithing videos? You ever seen that?
I haven't seen any blacksmithing videos. That's one thing I haven't.
Those are really cool. They'll take like requests of like weapons, let's say, to make from like science fiction movies or video games or stuff, you know, and they'll make it. They'll make it, and it's really cool. So I'd recommend that.
I've watched some like that's not quite that, where it's like engineering, like they made like a real Thor's hammer.
Yeah, I've seen those. Yeah, those are really cool. Yeah. Adam Savage is also really good. The guy from Mythbusters.
Yeah. I follow him.
Yeah, he makes some crazy shit.
Yeah. I started getting the reason why I started getting into woodworking videos is because I got into this like Pete Brown guy who does resin work.
Mm-hmm.
And it was just so cool because he just throws random shit into resin. Like he did one where it was like he made like a micarta, which is like a type of resin working where you soak paper in resin and then you do layers and then you can carve stuff out of it, right?
Yeah.
And this one, he made it with rose petals. I thought that was so cool, which is, very on brand for me.
Yeah.
But, like, he, like, does experiments where he, like, throws different materials in. Like, Kool-Aid can use it as a resin dye. Blah,
oh,
blah,
really?
blah. Yeah,
wow.
He's a really cool guy. His name is Peter Brown. He's on YouTube.
I'll check him out. That's really cool. You know, there's so many other cooler things to watch other than that.
Why should I watch this sexist man talk angry at me? I don't need that in my life. And it makes me very upset that young children, like kids, are like his main demographic because they don't know shit from their ass.
Well, you have a little brother. Do you think you're going to have to work hard to keep that away, or are you going to try, if he watches it, are you going to try explaining it? Have you thought about that? I
have thought about it very thoroughly because I already went through this with one of my little cousins.
Yeah.
So, like, I don't know if you remember in, like, the, 2010 era, like, where everybody was, like, saying fag, like, in the 2000s. Yeah. So, like, I remember one time, like, I was, like, hearing my baby cousin running around saying that shit, and I got so pissed, and I grabbed him by his shoulders.
Oh, Jesus.
Like, do you know what that word means? Do you know that the reason why they made that word was to say it means kindling, and it's saying that queer people are no better than the trash kindling that they use for fires. Are you comfortable with using that word? And he just looked so shocked.
It's like, not now.
He's like, and then he went off, and he never said that again. So, like...
Damn. Jesus Christ. I'm scared. Not that I would say that word, but, like, I'm scared.
Based on, the intensity with
I know. Oh my god, those experiences kill me. I had this one time where I was like, or probably around his age, and I was in the back seat of this person's car, because it was a mom of a friend at the time, and I took off my seatbelt. We were parked like how we are right now. And I took off my seatbelt to readjust, and she turned around at me, just like how you were looking, wide-eyed. Somehow she still had a grin on her, and she's saying, "You don't ever take off your seatbelt in a moving car." And like I was too petrified and young to say we're parked, but those are intense moments, man. And moms do it the best.
Oh God, I must be a mom because I've done that to so many young boys. I've like, that sounds so weird when they say it like that. I should have thought that through before I said that. But like,
I'll edit in the little wah wah wah.
Jesus. No, cause like I remember when we were in middle school at where.
Right.
I did that. There was this
kid.
There was this kid that I used to call Chubby Cheeks because he had the world's squishiest fucking cheeks. And I don't know why.
On his face, right?
Yes, on his
face.
All
right, okay. Just making sure.
And this kid I had to clarify that before I say what I'm about to say next.
Okay.
This kid used to let me freaking mess with his cheeks way more than he probably should have. Now that I'm looking back, I feel like this kid was very generous with me because he was like a head taller than me, but I was constantly just like squeezing his cheeks, and I was like, they were just insanely soft. Like it was like there was no muscle in his face or anything. Anyway. Chubby Cheeks, if you're listening to this, I hope you're doing great. He wasn't chubby either. That's the thing. He was like a skinny, normal kid.
Except for that part in his face.
I don't even know how I discovered that he had these incredibly soft cheeks.
Just look at him, right?
No, you wouldn't be able to tell. I just pinched his cheeks one day and bam, I was like, oh my God. And that was like my nickname for him, which I feel like was mean, but he seemed fine with it and I wasn't trying to be mean.
He's probably into it. He's probably like some part of him enjoyed it.
Okay. Anyway, I was talking to this kid and one time he was like, oh, like, can't you just, like, choose when you have your period? And I was like...
Can you schedule it?
I was like, you dumb fuck. And I told this kid, and I was like, you don't make fun of girls for being on their period because for a week they are bleeding. Like, I went through, like, the entire thing, and he was just, like... horrified at the end of it.
So he wasn't making fun. He genuinely didn't know.
Before he was like talking like making like shit.
Oh, I see. So in the way that the little kid was saying the F word.
Yes.
Okay, right.
And then like I like leaned into him, and then after that he's like, I'm never gonna be mean to a girl about her period ever again. I was like, good. I'm shaping generations, folks.
He started having his period at that point.
But yeah, no, that's like my specialty. So yeah, Elon Abu Maxine Jugo is gonna have his shit together. Let me tell you this, because that boy is hard-headed, but I am the queen of putting the fear of God into men.
So this was at the school redacted.
Yeah,
here?
School redacted.
The best school of all time. Oh man, I only spent. How long were you there? 3 years. Wow, I was only there for 6 months.
Yeah.
And then I had enough one day.
Yeah, I was there for 3 years.
Yeah.
And saw so much shit.
Yeah, in Latin class, and this is probably the least of what happened, considering how long you spent there, but we had Latin class where we learned Latin.
That man was a spooky motherfucker.
Yeah, that guy was something else. The teacher was this older guy who was like, from what I remember, like, in shape, for his age.
Yeah, he was like a thin, tall, spooky, white-haired man.
Yeah, and
white man.
Yeah, he looked like he belonged on the set of like Downton Abbey a little bit, or like
very dour.
Yeah, very dapper. And he belonged somewhere in Europe,
Mm-hmm.
and he was teaching Latin at this school.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember, because it was a bunch of Mexican kids from the area, because that's the area,
Mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? And they're trying to whiten up all these Mexican kids up.
Yep.
It's not happening, and they're having trouble learning Latin, a dead language,
Mm-hmm.
and the teacher is getting pissed off more and more, and people are laughing because it's like, I don't understand what this word is, like, what in Latin,
Why are we learning Latin?
who speaks this? How am I gonna use this in the real world aside from
what is the application, sir, of this dead language?
Yeah, what am I gonna, in the third Da Vinci Code or some shit? Come on, get the fuck out of here. But
Lorem ipsum my ass.
yeah, you know what, I wish one day I would have gone in there and just in red, written on the chalkboard, Romane 828 Domus. Yeah, fucking Life of Brian up in that shit. But anyway, this guy lost his mind and started getting so pissed at the students for not learning Latin that he said, now listen, in his soft way of speaking, he said, now listen, if you want to keep acting up like a bunch of little bitches, you can, but I'm trying to teach you something you're going to use the rest of your life. And at that point, I was just like, okay, these people are out of their goddamn mind. I'm out of here. And then I just went back to the normal place I was going to school for a while.
Did I tell you about the time I got in trouble because I corrected the teacher because he was teaching us something wrong?
What was he teaching you?
He was like writing on the board. He was teaching. It was English, and it was like grammar or some shit. And he was like conjugating verbs, and I said, this is wrong. This isn't how you spell that. And then, he called the principal on me and shit. And she was like, "You're right. This is wrong." And they're like, "It doesn't matter if it's wrong. You can't tell the class that your teacher is wrong." And I was like, "So you would rather all these kids be taught the wrong thing? Why am I getting in trouble right now?"
Wow. This teacher's like Lois Lane, like Pulitzer award winner journalist. How many P's are in Philippines? 2, right? Yeah, 2. Philippines?
Philippines? Yeah, I think there's 2.
Yeah, right.
No, Philippines.
Yeah, 2. Yeah, there you go. No, yeah, by the way, this was a charter school.
Yeah.
We're not going to name it, but it was a charter school, and it was very odd. You had to win a lottery to get in.
You had to win a lottery to get in. I remember I won the lottery to get in, and I really wanted to play cello because my mom played cello.
Yeah.
And then they were like, "No, you can't play cello." And I was like, "Can I play bass?" And they're like, "No, you can't play bass." And then they were like, "Can I play?" And then they were like, "You can play violin." I was like, "So then why did you ask me what instrument I wanted to play?" And I was stuck playing fucking violin, which is way too on brand for me. It's too, I need some, gap mo. I can't sound like my fucking instrument.
That's true, yeah. I used to play the violin also.
Mm-hmm.
I would imagine you more as a bass or a cello player, or even a viola, if anything.
Yeah.
Anything but something, because you don't need a violin.
I can
you just open your mouth.
Yeah.
And, all that shit.
Yeah. I have the same vocal range as my instrument. That's not good. I wanted to be a cello player so bad. I was so pissed. And then there was one kid who got to be a bass player. I was like, man.
Count your blessings, kid.
I was like, yeah. That dude was my buddy, though. I fucking loved that kid. Because he was this skinny white kid with hair longer than mine, which I was jealous of.
Uh-huh.
And he permanently had black eyes.
Wait, what?
He permanently had dark bags under his eyes. It's because he was sick.
Oh.
But he was my buddy, man. He was the gauntest looking motherfucker, but I love that dude.
Oh my god. I remember the first time I went, or the first day when I went there. And for our physical exercise, it was dance classes. Mm-hmm. So we're in the studio, and there's this one instructor there. I forgot his name. I don't remember his fucking name. But he was... Damn, that fool just Okay.
Zooming.
Zoomed past the stop sign, the pleasures of recording a podcast in a car. Just saw a guy speed through a stop sign. It was great.
Yeah.
It might be this professor I'm talking about. Professor, quote unquote. This guy was probably in his mid-30s. I was taller than him, and I wasn't very tall back then. And he was schlubby. You know, he didn't look like a dancer. And, you know, I was cool with that because, you know, I was a bigger kid growing up and everything. And he's doing these flips and somersaults and moves and shit. And I was thoroughly, genuinely impressed by his talent, especially given his shape. So I was just like, hey, this is cool. So I asked him, genuinely, hey man, do you ever do like any like choreography or anything for films or something? I'm trying to be cool. And he walks up to me and his hands are on his hips. It's already the attitude stance. I'm just like, oh Jesus, thinking in my head, oh boy, what happened? And he comes up to me and he's got a little lisp. So he's like, is that a serious fucking question? I was just like, yeah. And he says, ask it again then. Sure. Do you do any professional work aside from this? I mean, and that's when, because you've known me a long time. You know how short-tempered I've been in the past and used to be compared to now. So I said, I lipped off to him and said, yeah, because you don't look like you can do it. And then he called the principal, you know, and I was sent off. And it's crazy how people get so angry about, like, people in the arts. I was complimenting the guy.
Yeah.
So, like, what the hell? What's wrong with you?
Yeah, hair trigger. But, like, honestly, like, legitimately, Sid was cool. Just working with a bunch of fucking idiots. That's my opinion of Sid. Because, like, the reason
Who's
why...
Sid?
Sid was the principal.
Oh, okay,
The
okay.
little white, gray-haired
Right,
lady. Yeah.
okay.
Because... First of all, she had everybody call her Sid. Second of all, she's the reason why I started using my first name.
Oh, really?
At the time,
Yeah.
I was super anxious about it.
Sure, yeah.
And I was, like, introducing myself. And I was like, my name's Ufwe, but you can call me Angel or DL. And she's like, what is your name? And I was like, oh, my Ufwe, but you can call me... And then she was like, no. You make sure that people say your name and learn how to pronounce it. I was like, okay... The crazy white lady I just met.
Wow.
But, you know, after that, I was like, you know what?
She's
right.
She wanted to show you back then what being about the cause was.
She's about that life.
Yeah.
Like,
keeping it real.
I feel like she's really trying hard to do the right thing. She's just... She had some...
She's pissed.
She just had some fucked people under her, that was all.
Well, I remember one time where I saw her in the middle of our class. She was just there. We're reading the Odyssey as our history textbook. And there's this one kid who was just like, he was joking because it's like, this shit is stupid. Homer Simpson, doing this shit. And she let loose on this kid. She said, why are you so stupid? It was like, oh shit.
You know what? Hearing you say that is so funny because I just realized I think that she just really liked me. Because I never had any experience like that.
And I'm sorry to say this, okay? I am. But the kid who she said this to was black. It was a black kid.
No, I know what you're talking about because okay, no, listen. All the other black kids at that school made my life during that time at that school a living fucking hell. Like, seriously.
You were one of her favorites.
No, it wasn't even about that. They were all older than me. But I swear to God, they all wanted to fuck me.
Oh, Jesus.
It was uncomfortable. Like, I was in, like, 6th grade. And
yeah, they went from, what, 6th to 12th?
12th.
Yeah.
And, like, all of these guys were, like, because, like, me, I'm like, I am a just recently elementary school student.
Oh, jeez.
And all of these other guys were, like, 7th, was the youngest of them.
Oh no.
And
oh no.
And like they used to like circle up around me
What?
and like ask me like dirty questions, and I developed. Like
Yeah.
I went from being a B cup to an F cup within the span of 6 months.
Yeah.
Which caused all kinds of problems. And so, like, these guys would, like, would be, like, talking, sitting next to me during, like, the shows and stuff, and be, like, looking at pictures of naked women, being, like, just talking about how much they love big boobs.
Uh-huh.
And, like...
hint, hint.
And, yeah, and then, like, they would, like, circle up around me and be like, hey, what do you like in a woman? What do you like in a man? I'm like, I like men who respect my boundaries, or like leave me the fuck alone. So I used to like get like in trouble routinely because I would be kicking the ever loving shit out of these motherfuckers' shins.
Ooh, damn.
And then it would be funny though, because it would happen and then Sid would be like, yeah, you can't kick people, Fue, and then walk away. Like, I would never get in real trouble for it. She would just kind of be like, you can't be kicking people. But she knew it was because, like, they would literally circle up around me and make it so that I couldn't move. And I'd be like, come on. Like, let me I'm trying to get to my next fucking class. Like, that's the reason I got so violent in middle school, because I went from, like, just trying to be nice, and, like, sometimes I would, like, slap people, but it wasn't, like, with the intent to do harm. Like, and to, like, cursing like a fucking sailor, because I was, like, I snapped.
Uh-huh.
Because one of these dudes was specifically pretty bad. I don't know if you remember him. Bug-eyed looking motherfucker.
No,
like, literally
I don't remember a lot of people from there.
That's fine.
I just remember the staff being...
He was a fucking creep.
Oh, yeah?
So, this dude, used to follow me around campus all the time. I told him that I didn't have a phone. So, he got his dad to get my mom's number so that he could call me.
Uh-huh.
On my mom's phone. I had a phone. I just told him I didn't have a phone because I didn't want to talk to him. He would, like, follow me around, constantly be doing the same stuff with all the other dudes.
Sure, yeah.
And, then, like, was also one of them who was, like, circling around me and shit.
He was?
Yeah.
Oh, my gosh.
And, had the fucking audacity to come up to me when we were in college at PCC.
Uh-huh.
And he came up to me and was like, you never apologized to me for kicking me and stuff.
Right.
You never apologized to me. I was like, are you fucking serious?
Oh my gosh.
Are you fucking serious? You deserve that shit.
Uh-huh.
You shouldn't have. You first of all knew my family. Mm-hmm. You should have been looking out for me.
Right.
The reason why I was doing that shit was because you guys were circling up around a much younger girl than you. Mm-hmm. You deserve that shit. I'm not gonna fucking apologize to you for that.
And what did he say?
He was like, no, you should have. He's like,
mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Right. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Wow.
But anyway, this guy, he got my mom's phone, and then another thing he did was when he realized that he wasn't gonna get anything from me, after he invited me to a party at his house where nobody else would be coming except for me. Mm-hmm. Like, yeah. Like, stupid motherfucker. He dated he went after my cousin and my best friend, and then had the audacity to come up to me talking about how much of a slut my cousin was. There was like only 3 black guys at the school.
Man, I don't remember. I don't remember any of this. I think I just kind of stayed to myself.
Yeah,
on a lot of this.
Because we weren't really friends at the time.
Well, I mean, we would
known talk.
We've known each other for much longer than that, much earlier than that.
Yeah, I mean, I meant that we weren't close, like, hanging out every day at the time.
Yeah, I mean, I knew a couple people ahead of time before getting in there, and mm-hmm. I just remember doing everything I could to stay out of the classes of that school, because it was mm-hmm. It's a joke.
Yeah.
That school is a joke, you know, and I never heard about any of this. It's crazy. Yeah. It's crazy to hear that.
Yeah, but dude, after that whole experience, I was like, you can't be nice to everybody.
No.
Like, my general personality is being very nice and friendly, and some people think that means that, like, they can just walk over.
It's an invitation.
Stupid.
Well, yeah. I've seen that in action. Mm-hmm. Like, even though I missed a lot of the school stuff, mm-hmm. when we've hung out in person. I've seen plenty of that in person. Like, we were hanging out one time, and this one guy recognized your name because of where your name's most associated from. I think it was this black guy.
Oh,
was,
yeah.
No. Was he from
he was...
Côte d'Ivoire?
No, he wasn't from Côte d'Ivoire. He was,
Is he French?
No.
Or no, he was Nigerian.
I think he was Nigerian.
Uh-huh.
No, he was Ghanaian. He was
Oh,
from
okay,
Ghana.
okay.
And this dude came up to us, and he was just, like, talking to us, and I was like, I don't want to talk to you. I was just sitting talking to Julius, which...
Yeah.
The fact that you're hitting on a girl who's sitting with a dude, that's some gall right there.
Well, that's...
Because, the assumption that most people make is, even though I don't feel like we act like we're a couple,
right?
Most people assume if they see a girl and a guy,
I'm sure,
yeah, a couple.
Yeah, exactly. And if there's... Because we've known each other forever, so we have a repertoire that's there. So, it's an easy mistake to make.
Yeah.
But I feel like what this guy was thinking was, like, he had an in because he was also black.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Do you ever find that that's the case?
I mean, I do feel like... I feel like people who like black girls...
Right.
tend to go for me before the hair color.
Right, yeah.
Now I feel like I don't get as much of... Well, I haven't really been out since I've had this hairstyle. But, I feel like a lot of times... random black dudes will approach me.
Yeah. Well, and the thing is, the guy pretty much disregarded me.
Yeah.
Because, obviously you're the woman that he's trying to get at. But I'm not that.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
he what's he going to talk about with me? At least coming from his perspective.
Well, from his perspective, I feel like it wasn't that so much as... Sometimes black men feel entitled to black women and think that they should only get with black men.
Right.
You know?
No, yeah, I've heard that.
And, even though, it's if you're getting with a white guy or somebody who isn't black, then you're suddenly, a race traitor or some shit like that.
Yeah.
But the same thing doesn't go both ways. So, the assumption is, oh, you're definitely not doing that because that would make you, especially since he's fucking African. So, not all African men are like this.
Right.
But from my experience with African men, they just have another level of audacity and gall that, it's unmatched.
Yeah.
My dad told me that he wanted me to name my firstborn son after him. I was like, Negro, you stayed a month after I came out of the hospital. Why the fuck would I name my kid after you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a culture.
It's a culture
shock.
thing.
Yeah, a culture difference. Yeah.
And you can say no so many times and they still will not hear it because from their perspective, they are entitled.
Is that due to some sort of traditional element? Is it?
It's how they are treated.
A mindset.
It's a mindset.
Uh-huh.
It's how they are treated and how the expectations that they have of themselves. It doesn't matter if they hold up to their end of the bargain for those expectations. They believe that they are entitled to it. It is their birthright.
Mm-hmm.
And
And how do the women I can't ask you to speak for all women in Africa, but how, from what you know, the women in Africa, African women, how do they respond? Are they mainly obedient, or do they?
It depends.
You're right.
For me, honestly, I feel like from my experience with my stepdad's family, they're very... Even in a more Western context, they're very apologetic and they're just this is the way it is.
Mm-hmm.
It's not necessarily they're 100% obedient or not, but they are allowing and they're not going to call people out on their shit.
I see.
Which is, I always make jokes about it because I feel like I identify personality-wise with more the men in my family than some of the women in my family. And I'm like, I think about it and I'm like, thank God I wasn't born with a dick, because then that would have been just like a problem.
Mm-hmm.
I would have been the type of person I hate, you know? So, like, you know, I feel like it's like certain personality traits. That's the reason why I rub them the wrong way sometimes. For those men in my life, I rub them the wrong way because
mm-hmm.
they feel like these traits shouldn't be in a
right.
daughter.
Right.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, it's tough when you have such an inviting aura and personality. You're very outgoing. I don't know if you heard this one podcast I did with a couple of friends, Brian and Sebastian,
Mm-hmm.
but I started the Santa Clarita Saga.
Mm-hmm.
Did you hear that one?
I heard some of it, yeah.
Okay, well, I told some of the story
Mm-hmm.
that happened. I told the part one included the party that we went to up there,
Uh-huh.
and you know, we both went because we met those people at the Smell.
We met them together, yeah.
We met them together. You've met this girl. I referred to her as Rebecca in the
Yes,
podcast, so
Rebecca.
we're gonna stick to that. Okay.
Yes. Rebecca. I met Rebecca.
Yeah.
I did not, honestly, when you told me you were into Rebecca, I was like, really? Her?
Uh-huh. Well, what were your apprehensions, do you think?
Well, I met her and I was like, this girl is fun, but she's sweet, but she's psycho. A lot of it psycho.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I mean, I could tell just from like hanging out with her for a bit. I was like, I could tell that this girl was not all there.
Well, she's a little chaotic.
Yeah.
To say, I mean, to say the least.
I mean, I am fine. I have a lot of female friends
Right.
who are crazy. Shout out to my homegirl from from our
school.
our childhood high school. You know the homegirl I'm talking about.
Which one? I can cut it out. Who is it?
Natalie.
Oh, okay. All right.
Yeah. Let's call her Amaranth.
Okay, Amaranth.
Amaranth.
All right, I'll try.
Okay, Amaranth was my homegirl for most of the time that we were in high school.
Right.
Like, she was like my main female friend outside of your like little group.
Yes.
And
she's a little chaotic.
she's a lot of bit chaotic.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. So like I knew she reminded me a lot of Amaranth.
Mm-hmm.
Rebecca reminded me a lot of Amaranth. So I saw that and I was like, okay.
Yeah.
This is the type of person who's fun to hang out with, but you can't let them too close emotionally.
Yeah. You know, I think at the time the reason there was any level of attraction was because there was interest on her end.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so that's a sign, you know, that you want to follow, you know, and especially when you're I'm not that I'm old, but when you're younger in that age range, it's like, oh shit, let's fucking go, you know? Let's do this, you know? And we all would talk, and she invited us to that party, which you can listen to about in that chapter of the podcast if you dare. But it was chapter 10, by the way. And so we go, and it happens, and everything starts to get wild, and you start to get a little wild also.
Yeah, I mean,
not too crazy.
I could have been worse. There have been parties where I have been worse.
Right.
Like, that party, I feel like it was just mainly, I have a tendency to kind of go with the flow and also be kind of I can also be a bit chaotic. To be fair, I also can be a bit chaotic.
Yeah.
And I'm a bit of a hoe and I have a little liquor in me.
Well, you the thing is, you're go with the flow, but you enact it. You enact to go with the flow.
That party I did. Most of the time I don't. I swear to God, most of the time the chaos comes to me. That party I was in like a energy where I was like, I want to have fun.
Well, there's also the drive that it took to get there, which was long. So you're like, you got all this pent up energy. You want to release at some point, somehow. And when everyone just starts getting on top of each other and going crazy, it's like, oh, okay, all right, now I can let loose. Now that wasn't me, you know.
I kept on like looking for you at the party, and I was like, where did he go? Because like that was my number one rule. You'd leave nobody behind.
Yeah, which is why I was standing above you guys where you were on the sofa for a little bit. I was just standing there, just like looking, waiting. You guys are on the sofa, and that guy Derry is trying to break his way in there, and I'm just looking like, can we go now?
Oh, that's the reason. Because so the dude who was hitting on you apparently.
Which one?
The black dude.
Okay, that's not Derry. That's another guy.
That's another guy?
Yeah.
Who
I called him
Derry.
Derry was so you don't remember Derry? He was like a guy with glasses.
That guy. Yeah. Yeah, because like I was making out with the girl.
Yeah.
And then I also made out with the Asian guy. The
CrossFit.
Yeah.
Lacrosse dude. Yeah.
Yeah, he was the one. That was fun because like dancing with him was fun because I was like talking about doing dead drops because at the time I was obsessed with drag culture.
Right.
And he was like, oh, show me how you do a dead drop, and I was like, oh yeah, did the dead drop. And then he was like, oh, this is how I do a dead drop, and he started doing like ballroom dancing and shit. I was like, okay. And then he dropped me all the way down on the floor and picked me up. I was like, wow, because this dude was a head shorter than me. And I'm not tiny. I'm fucking,
yeah, right.
I'm 5'6". So like, and thick. So I was like, okay. That's surprising.
Yeah, you're considering. Right.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you much rather take that over again, Derry.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I was not watching, but I was waiting. The other W, I was waiting.
You're just like, do.
Yeah.
Do.
Literally. There was a point where I was like, we gotta go, because it was getting a little crazy, and I thought that things were gonna turn out differently with that Rebecca chick, but she had a boyfriend who had left to go to Japan that night, and she went to town with everyone else, and
I feel like she's the only person at that party who I didn't really make out with at any point, except for the girl I was making out with's boyfriend.
Oh,
I kissed her once.
Right.
But that I wouldn't consider that anything.
No, yeah, it's like a little peck or something.
Yeah, because it was like a drinking. The drinking, we did like spin the bottle or some shit.
Oh, okay. I don't remember. I think I was in the restroom at that point.
Yeah,
for 30 minutes.
I was so weird at that point.
Well, because I was weird because we opened the door and that one woman comes in and she fucking grabs my hand and pulls me in, doesn't break eye contact, and then people just start showing up. This one guy claims he's a fucking assassin.
Wait, what?
The guy with the cowboy hat claimed he was a killer. So I'm just like, there's already a sense of unease. I have to, and I wasn't drinking. I was drinking cherry Coke. So I was just, minding my own business, trying to be cool. And there was a little disappointment because I thought, based on the conversations I had with Rebecca, that things were different than what they were.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I was a little weird. I was just, and then when everyone starts ganging up on each other, yeah, I'm a little fucking weird at that. And so we eventually leave, we talk, and we say in this car, we talk about how, what was it we said? We made like a pact to each other, like saying, you said something like, okay, if I get too into it, you gotta pull me out. Do you remember saying that?
I mean, I think I remember saying something like that because I was like, I know I get like that at parties.
Right.
Where I kind of, let's just say, that's not the first time when I made out with somebody for one time at a party.
Sure.
And never made out with them again.
Never saw them again.
Never saw them again. I've gotten multiple text messages from random people who I met at parties and made out with once, and them saying, "Oh, remember when we made out in the bathroom that one time?" And I was like, "Who are you?" I don't know.
You know what? This is actually a good reminder to lock the doors. All right, lock the doors. There we go.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's happened to me multiple times. I was like, you need to tell me whose party it was, because otherwise I don't know. That makes me sound bad. But I don't go to parties that much, honestly. On hand to God, I feel like I've been to like maybe 5 or 6 adult parties in my life. But this happened at all of them.
Well, it seemed like you had like the experience of like 36 parties.
Because I'm fun. I'm a fun, goofy girl.
I will say that you are a lot of fun, and I don't know if I ever told you about the day after.
Oh no, you did.
I did tell you. Okay, well
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you again. Okay, because it's part 2, and didn't have you come out all this way to not tell you part 2.
Yes.
It's part 2 time, but so I did tell you this.
Yeah, because I remember, because like the next day you were like really upset about it, and I was like, that's what you get for messing with crazy.
Oh yeah.
You, from what I remember,
Mm-hmm.
because like I feel like I didn't warn you about how of a fucking mess. Like, I feel like with some things, I feel like you think I have a lot of experience just because I have more experience than you.
Well, then technically you would have a lot of experience.
Not a lot.
Well, by that definition.
I just
by your definition.
By my definition, I have incrementally more than you, but not a lot in the grand scheme of things, because I was trained
well, hey, man,
by the road dog of my big cousin. When I say that, the reason why I'm like, I don't go to parties that much is because she is seasoned.
Listen, I'm not saying you're She-Hulk, and I'm not saying I'm Hugh Hefner, okay? Okay? I'm just saying, man. Here's the thing, okay? So, there are some things you have to learn on your own in life.
Yes.
And this girl, and that day, is one of them.
Yeah.
Now.
So should I give my?
Yeah. No.
Remember
Please. Yes.
recap?
Please.
Okay. From what I remember, you went with this girl to pick up her and her friend, and you drove them all around LA.
Okay.
And like it was like Santa Monica at some point.
Okay.
If I remember correctly.
So here's the thing.
Mm-hmm.
So I go home.
Mm-hmm.
I drop you off
Mm-hmm.
at your home after that party that
Yes.
night. And I go home, I lay down in bed, and I'm just angry because of the experience.
Yes.
Because it was dumb. Just that whole thing was dumb.
Yeah.
So I'm a little angry at home, and I go to sleep, and I'm like thinking, I'm going to sleep this off. And then I get called in the next morning, and it's a beautiful next morning. It's a beautiful Sunday morning, actually. And, you know, the light of the sun is creeping into my window, and I'm just waking. It's like, you know, you hear the nice music and the pristine ambiance in the background. It's one of those mornings, and I get a call from Rebecca, and she says that she's in someone's house in near Van Nuys, like North Hollywood area, I guess, in the industrial area. So I'm like, oh man, that sucks. Sorry. And she asks for a ride. So in the ill conceived plan of my youth, I say, okay, I'll go get you. So I do go. I drive.
This girl knows how to take a train.
I know, but I'm not. I'm 20. What? 21 at this point? I'm 20. Maybe 20.
No, we were 21.
I don't remember. I was younger. Okay.
You were a
it was
little
dumber.
tiny baby.
the chubby cheek strikes back. Here we are.
I'm being very gentle with you. I'm not actually pinching your cheeks. Would you let me pinch your cheeks?
For the podcast, yes. Go ahead. Oh.
Your cheeks are nowhere near as fun as chubby cheeks are.
I know. I'm sorry.
Too much gristle.
Wait. Let me go get some non-fat free milk. Just stuff it in. All right. So
let's just
move on.
Yeah.
So I do go.
Mm-hmm.
I do pick her up.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is, we're driving around, not just Los Angeles, we're driving just around wherever we go, near the mountains, or over there. And, we're getting to know each other a little bit more, and we're talking about art and everything, music
Mm-hmm.
and this stuff. And, I'm completely forgetting what happened the night previous,
Mm-hmm.
which is part of the naivete.
Yeah, little baby.
What's that noise?
My phone is acting
Are you-
up. It keeps on buzzing, and then right now it was playing Spotify. I'm
Oh,
just
okay.
gonna put it up here.
All right, no problem. All right, you're good. So we're driving around, and there comes a point, because we're looking for food, and we can't decide on anything, so we're just driving and driving, and I'm seeing more of Southern California than I'd ever seen, So it's, I'm looking at it in the moment as like, oh, this is really cool, because I'm driving with a girl I like around,
Oh, you just have a drink and
I'm walking on sunshine.
Wow. See, you got to see the bad side of the manic pixie dream girl.
See, the thing is, and then I instead of saying, whoa, I was like, whoa, whoa, and eventually at some point, because this girl started having a panic attack in the very seat you're sitting in. It's very fitting that we're doing this podcast in the car, because in the very seat that you're sitting in, she starts having a panic attack. And she's saying all these things that she's going to die, and she's worried, and she's scared, and I'm just freaking out. Like, what the actual hell is going on? Is she dehydrated? Is she hungry? She's claiming that she's going to die, because she's having such an insane panic attack. So we eventually end up in Venice Beach and go to an emergency room over there. And, she gets her insurance in, and she looks at a doctor real quick, and the doctor just says, yeah, you're just hungry and dehydrated. You're not dying. And I was just like, oh, Jesus Christ. Okay. Can I go home now? And the doctor took me aside, and he said, it would be we're near a beach. It would be best if you guys just chilled there a little bit so she could, get her bearings. It's nice ambiance. It's nice breeze and everything. So I'm like, okay. So what happens then is we go to the beach. We're chilling out a little bit. And it comes time to leave because it's getting dark, and I'm just tired of all this shit. So drive her off, say, hey man, you can lie down in the car while I drive and you sleep. I'll listen to a podcast or something. And she's doing that. She's lying down, shutting her eyes and everything. I'm like, okay, cool. And she asks me, hey, Julius, would you want to be my plus one at a wedding that I have to go to? Like, when is it? It's tomorrow. Where is it? It's in the Antelope Valley. And I just keep driving. And I'm like, I don't know. I mean, I have to get home. I don't know what's going on. And she just say, well, you can sleep over at my place and everything. You can just chill there, and I'm like, I don't have any wedding clothes, dude. Look at what I'm wearing, And she says, well, we can, sleep a little bit at home and then go over to like a Burlington near me. I'm like, yeah, maybe. It's an idea. And then we get to her place, and it's the same apartment we'd been in the night previous.
Yes.
And her roommate was really cool, actually. The guy who she lived with, who you met him briefly, but he was a really nice guy, and he came in from Mexico that night. So he came in and he gave me some cool drinks and everything. I was having a better time with him because he's a nice guy. He's a genuinely nice guy. And
I remember him.
Yeah, he was a really nice guy. And I say I can't I can't go to this wedding with you tomorrow. And she's disappointed because it was very clear that I would have been her ride to this wedding because she didn't end up going. To this red wedding.
Dun, dun, dun.
And I just go home. And I'm like, what the And the thing about this that I really hate is that I actually missed helping a friend at the time move. Like help her move to her place and everything, and I felt really bad about it. Like the next day I asked if I could help, and luckily enough I could, but I let her down, and that's where I felt really shitty because I was waiting. And she's a really, it's been years since I've seen her, but she's a really nice girl, and you know, I shouldn't have treated her like that, you know, all for this fucking woman who's losing her fucking mind in my car, you know what I mean? Like it sucks. It sucks how stupid you are at that age. You know what I mean?
Speak for yourself first.
Well, that's true. I was, you know what? I was speaking upon the royal you. Okay, I'm sorry. You know what? You the baddest. You get the finest chicks. God damn it! You won the golden ticket. Jesus Christ.
I'm sorry.
Instantly regretting this podcast. Instantly.
You're the one who wanted to
I will be the one to ignore it. I will be the one.
I don't need to take an L on this public of a stage.
No, I'm sorry. Go. As you were.
Oh, God. I wasn't going to say.
But yeah. Let's be real. You were going to say, no bitches? Is that what you were going to say?
No, that was not what I was going to say. I was going to say something fucking nice.
Oh, let's hear it. I could use it right now.
I mean, I feel like...
Yeah.
I feel like I've probably said this to you before, but, like, sometimes, like, I don't know. It's like you're...
Yeah. Oh, jeez. This is going to be mean.
You don't know how to, like, separate yourself. Like, I feel like I do the same thing sometimes.
Right.
So, like, pot, kettle black, you know the deal.
Yeah.
But, like, you don't separate yourself enough. So, like, you have, like, this tunnel vision about this person and who they are.
Right.
When you're with the person.
Yeah.
Me, I have that for, like, a day. And then I can be very hypercritical, which, you know, makes it fun for people who I have friendships with me. Because I will call you out on your shit.
Right.
But you kind of keep the blinders on, and so you don't quite hear when people are like,
To be fair, I think I used to do that. Okay. I don't think I do that as much anymore.
Good for you. Know, I'm happy to hear that.
Yeah, well, and I think it's because of this, because I did end up having a relationship with this woman, and it ended badly. And I feel like that taught me a lot. You know, don't do that. You know, and, you know, sometimes it takes the actual experience rather than, you know, just hearing it to really learn something. Yeah. And, you know, that is unfortunate because the thing is the relationship, and I briefly brought this up in the previous podcast, but it wasn't good. It wasn't good, and it was toxic, and I used the word abusive in the podcast before, not physically or anything, but there was, and, you know, it's taken me a couple years to really get through all that shit, you know what I mean? Because here's the thing, there's actually an update now. There's an update in this saga. Ever since I did the podcast with those guys, who, by the way, they really want to meet you because they think you're a lot of fun based on the chapter 3. So we'll make that happen one of these days. There has been an update, and so on my birthday, I was hanging out with friends, and we're hanging out in the South Pasadena. which is a hot spot for trick-or-treating because my birthday's on Halloween. So
yes.
also,
and also it's the town where they did.
Where they filmed the original Halloween. And so there are a lot of people there. And there are streets for haunted houses, really popular haunted houses. And there's this one haunted house that has a line that's going down down the block in the middle of the street.
Yeah.
Like the street itself is blocked off so that there can be traffic there of people. And I'm just there hanging out with the friends, the people who I care about in my life right now. And what happens is I look up, just, chilling by myself. I look up and I see her. And I see her with a new guy. And it was crazy. She didn't see me. She didn't know I was there. And I wasn't sure at first if it was her. But the look, the stance, the demeanor, the costume itself, I knew it was her. And I heard her voice, and it was her. And I never got closure with this person. This person did end up ghosting me, which happens. I'm not crying about the ghosting, but it happens, and that's what happened here. And I never really got closure, But this, I felt, was a type, It was a type of closure. My birthdays are always weird in that there's always something really emotional or really heartbreaking that happens on them. And that happened here. But it was almost a sign. It was like, I don't know if anyone or you or me or whoever, how much we believe in God or the universe or fate or anything like that. But it did feel like one of those moments, like, how the fuck was that? So maybe it was meant to happen. And maybe it helped.
Yeah, I feel like with closure sometimes it's not really... Okay, this is going to sound really fucking depressing. Your reaction, a lot of what we experience as a person is so filtered through our experience that you don't really experience the true wholeness of any person that you interact with. We know each other very well. We've experienced each other. But all of that experience, like, there's, like, many things you didn't know about me, many things I don't know about you. Yeah. It's all filtered through our experience. And that's not a bad thing or a good thing. It's just a thing that is. And I feel like when it comes to these emotional wounds we carry from our interactions of our filters with different people, it's a lot of times we feel like we need to have the other person participate in the recovery of these wounds. Yeah. But in reality, it's your wound. And there's really, you can't expect that other person to be responsible for your wound. Right. You need to care for it. You need to maintain it. You need to help it heal. Yeah. And honestly, there's not really much that person can do for you. So, like, at the end of the day, it's nice if we can hear, and I'm sorry, or this is the end, this is why it's ending. But at the end of the day, sometimes you'll hear all those things and still not feel closure. Yeah. And that's because it's you. Yeah. You need to process. Yeah. That's true. I mean, because I didn't say anything to her. I'm just kind of, I walked away. Because what am I going to say? I have nothing to say to this person anymore. And that's fine. That's just how it is. All I know is that things have probably gotten better since then, and that's something to be proud of, and this, even though it was kind of sad at the moment to see this person again, it should be considered a gift. Yeah. And that's the way to, I think, to consider things like this. She's moving on with her life. Yeah. She's living her life. You're living yours. Exactly. Yeah. Well, like, how did I didn't see this chick because I was stalking her. I saw her because I was with friends out, You know what I mean?
That would have been a different story. That's a whole other podcast. That should be ignored.
I have so much experience with that.
Oh, shit. Oh, see, here's one thing I can say, because we've been going on for a bit, to end it off. And by the way, I just want to thank you for coming in on this one. Because I wouldn't have done it unless you had been involved in this little saga of mine. But one thing I can say that maybe we can both agree on. Here's to not having a part 3 to this. There you go.
Thank fucking God. I swear to God.
Let's just hope.
No, hell no. Hell no, you don't get to, I swear to God, I'm gonna beat your ass if you ever talk to this bitch again. No.
Okay. Well, hey, you know what?
You all are as my witness. If that happens, if he gets his ass beat, you know what happened.
Here's the thing. Here's the real last word, for me at least. One of the last words. I hope she's doing better.
I do too.
Yeah.
But she can be better without you. Okay?
She probably is better without me.
Yes.
And that's just fine.
I want you to be better. I want her to be better. I know I sound like I'm very aggressively mean towards this girl. I don't hate her. I don't feel anything bad towards her. It's just...
You don't really know her, honestly.
I did get to kind of know her.
A little bit.
Because we talked and, we were doing talking at the same time you were talking. And then once you guys started, dating more, and after that party, I kind of fell off.
Okay. That's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But, for me, I don't hate this girl. I don't hate
this girl.
Yeah. I don't have any ill feelings towards this girl. For me, it's a thing, because I've watched it happen. Some people, if they are attracted to each other, even if they're bad for each other, they will keep on.
Right, yeah. And
I'm just trying to very strongly encourage you against that, because I would hate to see that happen to you.
No, and I appreciate that. That's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this not to call anyone out. I'm doing this because it's part of my healing. I need to say this. I need to say these things because they happened, and I need to heal from them.
If you're in the audience and you're listening to this and you're relating to this, I would like you to... 2 things. Don't call her or him or them. Second of all, don't feel like everybody from that group is like this bad person you had in a relationship.
Right.
Just because you had that bad relationship with them. They are a individual on their own path. You are an individual on your own path. Heal yourself. Yeah. Figure out why you even ended up with a relationship with somebody like that in the first place, and work on it, and then move on. That's exactly right. Make some room for healing, folks. Guys, thank you so much for listening. Oofway, thank you so much for joining me. No problem. This was great. This actually, even though we're making jokes and everything, this actually was very helpful to me. Feels like a little bit of a weight has been lifted, so I appreciate it. Oh, come here. Give me a hug over the microphone. Come here. Hug noises. Hug commence. Thank you so much. No problem. All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Thanks so much for listening. Have a good one. Stay safe and goodbye. Bye.